Hello, everybody. Welcome to the We're High Forensics Podcast. I'm Mason Klink.
I'm Devin Colson.
And I'm Anthony Zorbini.
Today, we're going to be talking about Richard Ramirez, a.k.a. the Night Stalker. He was born February 28th, 1960. Died on June 7th, 2013. He had 15-plus counts of murder and 11-plus counts of rape. His spree was from 1985 to around 1986. It was around 200 days long. Do you have anything to say about it?
He was actively killing people around the 200-day streak of, before they caught him. And Beanie, you got anything to say about him?
Yeah, Richard Ramirez. It's a world of many wonders.
Okay. Richard Ramirez, people say that he had a really bad cocaine addiction because not only would he murder people, but he would break into their house and rob them and everything.
Sorry for drug money.
He had 14 accounts of burglary.
Yeah.
14 plus.
They said that he would steal money for cocaine use, all that bad stuff. He had like curly hair, ragged teeth.
Really bad hygiene.
Yeah, I said he smelled awful.
They said he smelled him as like an animal. He was spotted in the library once by the librarian, and he, described him as being a very bad hygienic looking man. And
Anyways, let's talk about his childhood. So he was born in Texas, ended up in L.A. obviously. His father was very abusive to him. That might be what sparked his, because he had really bad anger issues, too.
Yeah.
And his older cousin was also a murderer and a rapist in the U.S. Army. He shot his wife in the face in front of Richard. So that probably messed him up a bit.
Yeah, that definitely messed him up because, especially when you witness something like that, it must do something to you because, that definitely influenced him to think that kind of behavior was all right and he could, kill people like that.
And then Richard's cousin would show him Polaroids of all the crimes he committed during his time in Vietnam, during the Vietnam War.
Yeah, that definitely, seeing those Polaroids of, these women had their heads chopped off and, he would rape them actively, and I just think that does something to him, and, maybe he wasn't just born bad, maybe he,
Influenced.
Yeah, I don't know.
Definitely influenced. Because he publicly stated one time when he was getting interviewed, he said that he believes everyone has a little bit of evil in them, and I just don't think that's true because the way he was influenced, I could see if he just went around killing people and he had no, background of, anything having to do with killing, but him having a cousin that did the exact same things just really shows you that, he was definitely influenced.
Yeah, I don't believe that he was born evil at all either. I mean, his father, from what we know, was a steel worker. He was a hard worker. They were pretty poor growing up, but they made it work.
He probably wasn't around a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then when he was home, he was abusive. So that obviously messed up his brain mentally. Probably caused him depression or anxiety.
All right, let's talk about his first murders.
Yep, rookie year. His first murder was a 79-year-old Jenny Vinkow. Happened on June 28th, 1984. She was found in her apartment dead. Richard stabbed her multiple times in the head, neck, and chest. Nearly decapitated her.
That's crazy.
And the way he came in through the screen window. Well, not the screen window, but he lifted up the screen window to get in through the window. Left a fingerprint there. And there was also a shoe print on the floor.
Bandit.
Which he left a shoe print in every case.
Literally every place they had a distinctive shoe print. That's what helped them connect all the murders. They thought it was all different people, or at least, a few people. But it really showed them that,
prove that it was just
Yeah,
one man
yeah.
doing it all.
Because they thought it was different people at first within like the first 4 murders or 3, and then I forget what the detective's name was, but he came to the conclusion that it was one guy doing all of it, and then another murder happened and the same shoe print was there and they believed him.
But yeah, that fingerprint that matched up with Richard Ramirez was definitely a key point of, showing that was his murder. Because I don't think they thought that was him that murdered.
Because he had a former Grand Theft Auto charge.
He didn't have anything to do with like murder or.
All right. Let's talk about Vincent and Max Zazzara. Vincent, he was 64, and Maxine was 44.
Big age difference.
Yeah, big age difference right there.
Kind of like Devin's parents.
Vincent was killed by a .22 caliber handgun. Maxine was beaten and bounded down.
And
She actually escaped.
No, she died. She was tied down by Richard because she woke up from the gunshot and started screaming and attacking. And she pulled out a shotgun from under her bed and attempted to shoot Richard. Richard should have been dead, but the shotgun wasn't loaded. So nothing came out. Then he beat her over the head and tied her up, but she ended up escaping it somehow. And then she tried to attack Richard again.
And then she got shot.
But then she got shot 3 times. And then
What's really sick about it is that he carved into her chest an inverted cross, then removed her eyes and kept them as souvenirs.
it's like,
That is absolutely sick. I don't know how someone could do that.
And he kept them in a jewelry box.
And, I can't imagine, like, the people that walked in, it was found by their son.
I mean, imagine seeing your parents, like, your mom's eyeballs gone and your dad's head almost off.
Yeah. That is insane.
Probably traumatizing for a kid.
Oh, for sure. It definitely, definitely did something to him.
We can also talk about the people that survived that got shot in the head. That survived.
Oh yeah.
They chased him out of the house.
Oh, yeah.
He got shot right in the back of the ear.
Thank God it caught cartilage of the ear, but survived.
That
It
is-
definitely did a number. It shook up Richard Ramirez, and he escaped. And I don't know how someone, that does all these murders could be such a coward when, they don't, die, and he runs out the house.
He shot the wife too.
Yeah.
She had missed every artery in her neck.
Yeah, that is crazy.
She
That
lived.
is God coming down and saving you right
For
there.
sure.
Something that just you don't survive from that normally.
Oh, God. He was actively known for, putting pentagrams on, the crime scenes of which he killed people. He targeted, older women, like really older women in their 80s, 70s, and it ranged. He would rape, like, little girls, too. But, yeah, there was a few times where they found a pentagram, and he'd write messages on the wall, He was basically playing with the police system, which is just horrible. And
Literally something out of a movie.
we can talk about how he got caught.
Yeah. Beanie, you want to start it off?
How he got caught. Well, do you want to talk about the time he got pulled over and escaped?
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that first. That's the first, police
Okay.
encounter.
So, what kind of car I don't remember what kind of car he had. He had this little yellow car, and he got pulled over one night by a sheriff.
Yeah.
And
This is when they knew he was the killer.
yeah,
Yeah.
when they just found out
Because they had a
just
picture.
recently.
They had a picture of him, and they found multiple cases of, like, a Richard Ramirez. There was, like, I think 6 or 9, like, I don't
9
know.
in the whole
I think it was
state.
9 of them. Only one fingerprint that they found matched with one Richard Ramirez, and it just happened to be, the actual person that did all of it. And they got a picture of him as a suspect because they took him into custody. Got a picture of him. But, he was on the run. They were asking the public to, be on the lookout for a man that they showed in the picture. And, like they were saying, he got pulled over. And,
Second the cop noticed who it was, Richard
definitely,
was gone.
yeah. Yeah, he was on the run for a little bit when someone spotted him in a transit bus, which he, hopped off of the bus and went on the run. He actually got multiple injuries from his plan to escape.
Great job by the civilians for attacking
For sure.
him.
Yeah, that was a big part. I think he would have got away because he got away for so long that I think he would have, kept doing it. He would. I mean, there's no stopping after you've done stuff like that. But he had a laceration on the top of his head from being beaten by the civilians. And when he was put into custody, he had a bandage over his head because he was brutally hurt. And there was basically no running for him by the time he got caught. He openly admitted it to it. He actually laughed about it, and he's just a sick individual. I don't know how someone could laugh about that.
I mean, and his ego is only boosted by the fangirls he had.
Yes, he had fangirls.
Kind of like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yes,
a
lot of serial killers had these fangirls. I don't know. They would be sending nude photos, explicit messages. I just think it's sick that people praise this guy after he got caught doing these. These are people's families that got devastated because of this man, and he's acting like a god. There was people outside of the courtroom that praised him. He had a pentagram tattoo on his hand. There's a lot of people that praised him and praised his worshiping of the devil. I just think it's sick that he.
And the funny part is he lived till 2013, and he didn't even die from death row. He died of cancer.
He was on death row for a while. I think it was about 2 decades he was on death row, and yeah, he died from cancer in prison. So, not the death that people wanted him to suffer.
Not the death I want. I mean, I want to see him suffer
Yeah.
just from what he did.
Yeah.
All right. And to end this podcast, we're gonna name the cases out of respect for the people. So first, we have Jenny Vincal, Mario Hernandez, Dale Yoshi, Vincent and Max Zazzara, Bill and Lillian Doy, Maple Bell and Florence Long, Carol Kyle and her 11-year-old son, Mary Louise Cannon, Whitney Bennett, Joyce Nelson, Sophie Dickman, Layla and Maxon Nealing, Chaneong Connaughton, Chris and Varja Peterson.
All right, and that's all for our podcast. Thank you for listening.